We are live.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy midweek. I hope it's the first Wednesday of the month. I just can't even remember what day it is because, like I say all the time, I went to bed in March and I woke up in October, people. So that's where we're at right now. Still getting through this COVID time. But today we have a great show for you guys. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you all to meet the panel, but I'm gonna let you guys get a few minutes to get on and join us today to have some fun. Before I do, I wanna welcome everybody. My name is Shannon with the Albuquerque Chamber of Commerce. And we are now in our seventh month of our webinar series, which we want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. We have had incredible viewership. You know, we started in April and we'd be happy to get 500 views. And, you know, it's not a good day if we're not getting 6,000 views now. So we're super excited and we appreciate you guys sharing, calling and asking questions, and being engaged with what we do here in the Chamber and how we're supporting the community and small business. So this month, I'd like to say thank you to the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, USHCC, our parent, our umbrella, if you will, for over 250 Hispanic chambers across the country. They are our official partner, our webinar sponsor of the month. So thank you to Ramiro and team. We appreciate your support and congratulations on a very successful national conference, which just less than a year ago was right here in Albuquerque. So I see Jim doing the thumbs up. And of course, our partners and our friends at New Mexico Tech, they've been our partner for the past 6-7 months on this project, and we couldn't do it without them. And of course, little Angelique, who's behind the scenes, keeping us up and running. So thank you to the team. So guys, what week is it? Does anybody know what's happening? What should be happening right now in our very own Duke City? That's right, it's Balloon Fiesta. So today we pulled together an all-star cast. This is Balloon Fiesta to the 10th power. This is Balloon Fiesta. The best you can get is right here on the screen. So we want to start with really talking about the impacts of not having Balloon Fiesta, what it's doing to the economy, but also what are some of the things that we should be experiencing right now as well. So we're just going to kind of go around the board. Everybody introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and we're going to get into a fun conversation. So I'm going to start over to my right, and we're going to start with Paul. You're the man to the right.
Well, at least that's one of the better things I've been called lately. I'm Paul Smith. I'm the executive director of the Balloon Fiesta. I've been here for Jim will tell you probably 300-400 years. I think it's actually been 23 years.
Woo, 23, my lucky number. I love it. 23 years. That is a long time, Paul. We want to hear about those 22 years here in just a minute. I can only imagine the stories that you have. Laurie, we're going to move over to you.
Hi, I'm Laurie Mcgovern. I am the executive director of the Balloon Museum Foundation, which is the fundraising arm for the museum. And I've just been in that position a little over a year, but for 12 years prior to that, I was the curator of education at the museum.
All right. So again, long-standing history with Balloon. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make a jump just so we can get the whole Balloon Fiesta team out of the way. And Mr. Garcia, I'm taking you from dead last to dead center.
Oh, excellent. Well, Shannon, first of all, thank you for having us. Kudos to Carmen Castillo and Mr. Gavassos for hosting this event. We really appreciate that. Thank you for having us. My name is Jim Garcia. I'm the executive director of the Associated Contractors of New Mexico. That's the heavy highway construction division or department, if you will. I'm on the board of directors of the Balloon Fiesta. I have been for 16 years, and my heart is broken because this is such a passionate thing. But I want to back up and say something about Paul. He gave a very humble introduction, but Paul has been an executive director for the Balloon Fiesta for 23 years, but he also serves as our general counsel. He's a pilot. He's an amazing human being when it comes to Balloon Fiesta, and good to have him on today. But he's been a great executive director for us. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so speaking of the world of Balloon Fiesta, because it impacts tourism, I'm going to move right over to Miss Jessica Fox. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, good afternoon. It's so nice to see these faces in person and not just over text message. So it's really good to be here. Thank you for putting this together. I am Jessica Fox with Sandia Peak Tram. I also cover marketing and PR for Ski Santa Fe, the ski area, and then of course, the new restaurant 10-3, and we're happy to be open again.
Woo-hoo! We love that. And Mr. Adrian Montoya, tell us who you are, what you do.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me this morning. My name is Adrian Montoya, and I'm very fortunate to be the general manager of Hotel Albuquerque. I've been here a little over 4 years now, and also the board chair for the Greater Albuquerque Hotel and Lodging Association for this past year. Been in the business for 17 years. And again, like Jim said earlier, my heart is broken as well. I'm a native New Mexican. Balloon Fiesta is my favorite time of year. And I look forward to seeing the balloons every single morning, but also heartbroken that we can't see 500 to 600 balloons up in the air. So thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adrian. And absolutely not least, but last to announce in themselves is our very own, because there's only one in the whole world, unique Miss Yuridia Morales. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Shannon. I love it. Thank you so much to each one of you. Shannon and I were having this conversation about the importance of talking tourism. Yuridia Morales with Global Ties ABQ. I had the honor and privilege to be working with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce for, I don't know, I think 5, 6, 7, so many years, and now being in this position with Global Ties, and I love it. And my job is to bring international visitors to the city of Albuquerque, and this week is crucial for us to talk about what's the economic impact of us not receiving domestic and international visitors to this wonderful city. But thank you so much, Shannon, and each one of you for everything that you do for this wonderful city.
So thank you, Yudi, and I know we'll probably find a few minutes in here to talk about specifically what you do, but I am positive that you, amongst everybody else, is seeing this huge economic impact right now. So kind of just to start off the conversation, I want to kind of reach out to Paul just to give us a little bit of a history of the Balloon Fiesta and just kind of bring the public up to date with, how we started and here we are today, just to kind of get us in the Balloon Fiesta mood.
I was going to say, you're coming to me because of the white hair, I presume, because you want the history.
Paul, all the pins behind you too. That kind of gives it away.
We got a few.
Oh my God. You're a pin collector's dream.
Pretend, anyway. But anyway, Balloon Fiesta started back in 1972. Sid Cutter was approached by KOB, now KKOB Radio, about putting together a balloon event or putting together some kind of balloon celebration for their 50th anniversary back then. I decided to put together what was going to be the largest balloon event of all time. There was some bad weather back like in the Chicago area in the Midwest, so a lot of the balloons couldn't make it here, but 13 did. And so that was the beginning of our first Balloon Fiesta. Going back just a little bit further, he had bought, Sid is a man after my own heart, and Jim will tell you that I have been known as Ebenezer around the office often. He found out he wanted to rent a hot air balloon for a centerpiece for his mother's birthday. And he found out that it was just as, it wasn't any more expensive to buy one. So he bought a balloon and put it up as a centerpiece. It was a World War I theme. And then the next day he had this balloon, and he pulled out the the operation manual and figured out how to inflate it and said, I got to do something with it. So taught himself how to fly, and the rest, as they say, is history. It has turned in from his vision into what we have now. Well, what we had last year and what we will have next year, not what we have today. But that's really it. We've been through a lot of different locations around the city. The first event was at Coronado Center, moved to the fairgrounds, the infield of the racetrack. As some of our international pilots were landing on Kirtland Air Force Base at the time. If you remember the world, and in particular our nation 40 years ago, some of the Russian pilots were perhaps not quite welcomed out at the Air Force Base when they landed there, by accident, of course. Moved over to Sims Field, which is now about Jefferson and Osuna. Moved a little bit further north to what is now Vista del Norte Park, then moved a little bit further north as the city kept progressing, or it kept developing into what was what we call Old Balloon Fiesta Park, just on the south side of Alameda. And then in 1996, we moved into our current location, which is on the north side of Alameda, just south of the Sandia Reservation. We will have between 800 and 900,000 visits each year at the Balloon Fiesta Park. Our international community, our international guests, the guests are usually between 1% and 2% of the total attendance. So that equates to between 10 and 20,000 people. Our international participation from pilots has actually dwindled a little bit over the past 15 years or so. We used to have sometimes as many as 80 countries. Now we have around 20 to 25 countries participating, primarily because of the cost. After 9/11, the airlines and the shipping companies changed their procedures, and the costs have gone up 3 or 4 times what they used to be. But obviously, we still consider ourselves the International Balloon Fiesta. And as Jim would tell you, also, my heart would be broken now too, except I'm a lawyer, so I have no heart.
That is such a Jim-ism, I have to tell you. And speaking of Jim-isms, Jim, you know, you obviously have a very long standing with the Balloon Fiesta as well. And I know firsthand how passionate you are about the Balloon Fiesta. So what would you like to add a little bit to the history and the importance of what this economic impact is to the city?
Well, I'll tell you what the economic impact is to the city is, first of all, it's $188 million in direct economic impact. Those are straight GRT numbers. These are numbers that are just, those are the revenues that are just coming into the city of Albuquerque. So you can imagine if we spread that out to the state, you'll have 4,000 RVers that are coming in, you know, probably about a month before the event to start staging. A lot of those are volunteers as well. But this is the equivalent of the Indianapolis 500 in revenue for New Mexico, for Albuquerque. So people build their entire year around the revenue resources that come into this. People build their businesses around this as well. We know that. We love it. We love the sharing of it. We love I think it's up to 17 different agencies that are helping us with making sure that the public safety is safe. There's just an incredible amount of elements that go into making this event safe. I think it's funny, somebody asked me, what do you do during Balloon Fiesta? And I said, really, not as much as we do all year round, because when you work on the board of Fiesta, you have to work. You have to serve on committees, and you have to get stuff done. And between Paul Smith and Sam, we have been able to really get a good group of people to get a lot of stuff done. And kudos to Paul, because he has a very small staff that does a lot of work. I will tell you that in June, when we were deciding to make the decision that we were going to cancel this year's event, it was a tough decision. It was heated arguments. It was these are type A personality board members that are very passionate about the world that we live in and how we built Fiesta and where it came from. So it was a very tough decision. It was based on a lot of economies of scale, if you will. And it was heartbreaking to really, you know, stand back and think about whether you're going to be a fiduciary and you're going to take a responsibility for putting that on your shoulders and to cancel an event like this. And there's a lot to this, you know, the amount of money that we call it a burn rate. Yeah, the amount of money that we spend in advance, getting fences up, getting tents in here, getting food or clothing orders, getting all your resources ready. So it's a masterpiece event. It's definitely a legacy event. It won't go away. I think we're going to gain opportunity out of all of this. We're going to appreciate Balloon Fiesta absolutely better than we ever have. And last, I'll tell you, Shannon, that Balloon Fiesta is the perfect storm. We're in the fall. The weather's changing. The leaves are changing. The roasted chili is in the air. And then we have propane and chili. The smell is together is just the intoxicating combination. But that's who we are. It's what we live for. We will be back. My ballooning career started way back when, 1978, with Scott Appleman, who's the owner of Rainbow Riders. He was my college roommate, and
Scott and team.
we had some great times. We scooped a couple of cactus in with some high-speed landings, and flew early on with Paul Smith. At that time, he had actually black hair, and A lot has changed. Sorry, Paul, I had to throw that one in there. But it's an exciting event. I love being on the board. It is work, but it's a fun job. I will tell you that.
Well, you know, I'm gonna hang on to it, but I'm gonna put this thought in your head, Jim, because I want to close up with something fun. And I know you guys have had some marketing over the past couple of years that was supposed to bleed into this year. So I'm gonna close up with some fun stuff. Reason is I see the poster behind you. That's why. So we'll talk about that in a bit. So speaking of tourism and international, you know, Adrian, right now the hotels are extremely hit, and not just Balloon Fiesta, but just tourism in the state right now in general. And so let's talk a little bit about you know, you're the head guy for the hotel industry right now. And so tell us what their thoughts are and kind of what's happening in your world with hotels.
Well, I think the tough part is, you know, gatherings. We talk about Balloon Fiesta being the largest gathering in the city of Albuquerque every year. And unfortunately, we can only have gatherings of 10 or less. And so when we heard that, you know, we definitely knew that it would definitely impact our industry, not only Balloon Fiesta, but from weddings and gatherings, conferences and conventions. But the most important one is Balloon Fiesta. And that definitely impacts not only our business, but the businesses around us. That's restaurants, shops, galleries, museums, and everyone on this call today, I know has been impacted, but the hospitality industry has been impacted drastically, not only from an occupancy standpoint, but an average daily rate, staffing. We've lost tens of thousands of employees in our industry due to COVID. And we were looking forward to having the Balloon Fiesta. Balloon Fiesta was our hope, our something that we wanted to see happen. Unfortunately, we knew that gatherings of 10 or less were still going to be in place. And it's something that definitely impacts us. It impacts us in the hotel guest rooms, but also in our restaurants, the surrounding areas. You know, in the past, I'd walk outside the doors of our beautiful hotel and see thousands of people and buses and tourists from all over the world. And that's not happening this year. And we look forward to seeing Balloon Fiesta happen next year. Like Jim said, Balloon Fiesta will be stronger than it's probably ever been. And I look forward to seeing that time.
So how are the hotels right now kind of adjusting? Do they have you heard of anything, you know, contingency plans? You know, right now we get, you know, the third largest industry in our state, hospitality and tourism. And like I said, Balloon Fiesta is a chunk of that tourism, hospitality. But again, this goes across the board. All events are being canceled for hotels. So what are some of the thoughts around that?
You know, I think the fortunate thing is we have amazing clients and customers. We have amazing locals that continue to come to our hotels for staycations. We have amazing couples and brides and grooms that are rebooking their weddings for 2021. We have customers that are loyal to us, that continue to come to our businesses, to fill our restaurants at the 25% inside dining, the 75% on patio dining. We, like Balloon Fiesta, will come back stronger than ever. It's just time now. And I think what we're really focused on is 2021. We're focused on making sure that our hotels are clean. We're making sure that we're following all the CSPs. We're making sure that we're taking care of our customers, loving on those customers, whether they're coming from you know, 5 miles away from our property or coming from Colorado, Arizona, California, wherever they're coming from. We're taking care of them. We're making sure they're safe when they're in the properties. But we're gearing up for 2021. We're gearing up to be prepared for 2021. We are excited about 2021, but we also want to make sure that everybody is safe.
I love that, Adrian, and thank you for bringing that up because we definitely want to talk about the future. But before we do, another, well, you know, Balloon Fiesta, and then there's the Balloon Fiesta Museum, and then there's the Balloon Fiesta Museum Foundation. So there's a lot of little entities that come together to pull everything that happens usually during this week to make this week so successful across the board. So Laurie, I want to bring you into the conversation a little bit. You know, the museum right now is also not getting the guests and the traffic that they would normally get. Which in turn can hurt sometimes when it comes to the foundation, the funding arm part of what you guys do. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. The Balloon Museum is, you know, very close to Balloon Fiesta Park, but the Balloon Museum is officially part of the city of Albuquerque. And so we are connected to several museums across the city. And even though we are physically the closest, the Balloon Fiesta season really affects our attendance. We get a huge percentage of our annual attendance because we are open year round during those 9 days of Balloon Fiesta and right before and right afterwards as well. And being in conversation with the other museums around town, the same is true for them. And so it goes across the city and across the state of increased attendance for all of the museums. And then also on the fundraising arm, like many cultural institutions, the ticket sales don't sustain its budget. And so we have support organizations that do fundraising for it. And on the foundation end, we run the gift shop and we run the majority of the programming during Balloon Fiesta. And so a loss of both of those is very large for us, and having us recreate the way that we connect with our visitors, a lot of virtual and a lot of online, but it gives us the opportunity to say, hey, we're here to celebrate the essence of Balloon Fiesta with you all month long. So we are launching some new programs that way. And then one thing that we're really proud of at the Balloon Museum of tying in some international visitors, we do have something here of an exhibit called the Hall of Fame. And the Hall of Fame is a physical representation of an international organization called the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, and in French, with a French accent, please. And that's the World Air Sports Organization, which covers airships and drones and balloons. And they celebrate pioneers and highly accomplished people once a year get inducted into that. And that big celebration and all those international visitors come to the museum for that induction ceremony. And our visitors can visit that year round. And that is a big draw for our international visitors that come. But we didn't have the ceremony this year, and I'm waiting to find out what will happen with those inductees, but it's that perfect mix of very, very ballooning, very international, and very museum. And we've just opened our doors back up to the public. So we're relearning of how to have visitors in the museum and the shop. But we love this season, and we're excited to open a Balloon Fiesta exhibit at the museum, hopefully in what year, Paul? Now, sometimes I get so confused of when the years happen.
2021.
Thank you. Yeah, just right next year. Okay, it's not that far away.
Laurie, what are your current, what is the current status of your open hours, and how are you doing that for the public to come visit?
Yes, so they deemed that we are opened Wednesdays through Sundays. We're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and you have to do pre-reservations to come timed ticketing, get your tickets in advance, and we allow 20 people at a time. And so those, our capacity is obviously much greater than that, but during this phase of the COVID restrictions, that's how many people we can let in. So being open is great, but also we have to balance that it's expensive to open with that low turnout.
Sure. Well, that's good to know. So before we end today, we'll make sure we have everybody's websites and all that information so we can post it in the link above. But I think that would be great for everybody to know that the Balloon Fiesta Museum is now open, and that they are taking reservations, and that we'll make sure that you guys have that link where you can go on to find that information. And so, speaking of an impact in tourism and how that helps or hurts, we have Jessica, who is everything Sandia Peak Tram in my world, and an incredible partner here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. So Jessica, tell us about, you guys have actually been pretty busy, because I know we were making some reservations, and you seem to be keeping pretty tight on your schedule, which is fantastic. But tell us a little bit about the tram and then some of the adjustments you're making because of lack of tourism.
So we are seeing some lines this week, which has been very exciting. We were anticipating a rush, and obviously not quite the same rush, but what we're trying to do, all of our staff are still trying to stay high energy, excited to see these guests, excited to see these people who have been at home for a long time, and they want to get out and they want to experience something. And of course, safety is priority. So we are putting safety first in all of our operations, and also making sure that we connect with them in a different way, because now we all have a mask over our face and you can't quite read that language. So we're trying to find those special ways to make them feel special, make them feel welcome, safe, of course. And then 10-3 is operating as well. So we are limiting our capacity at 10-3 to that 25% indoors, but have brought in a to-go system that we never had before. So it's cliffside to go or cliffside carry out. And it's the best way to enjoy the mountain and a picnic with your family outdoors. You know, the temperatures are cooler, the leaves are changing. So it really is about creating this special experience that I think a lot of people have been longing for.
So Yudi, it sounds like we need to have a Jessica Yudi date and we need to do a picnic. That is so cool. I love that idea. So we're gonna have to get some more information about that, Jessica. That is so cool. And speaking of Yudi, you know, we have and actually Jim took the picture. We have a great picture at the opening of 10-3 with that beautiful cliff, and these young ladies were jumping. It looked like they were gonna jump off the edge of the cliff. It's so cool. Turns out the young lady in that picture is actually Joe Karras from Pepsi. It's his wife. What a small world. And we just love that picture. So we talk about it all the time because Jim's proud that he took that picture right there on your patio. It was awesome. But Yudi, so, you know, your business, what you guys do as an organization is hugely affected right now. You're all international. So tell us a little bit about that. And you're not bringing any guests in for Balloon Fiesta. So let's talk about that.
No, Global Ties has been in existence actually in the city since 1963. And me coming on board, I mean, when I was at the chamber, we used to host all of these international visitors. And the great thing about it and learning about the organization is that they're emerging leaders. All of these people that we're able to host here in Albuquerque, they're people that later on they're going to be becoming presidents of their countries, prime ministers. So what I'm talking about is decision makers. So in order for us to be having international visitors, I need each one of you. I need the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to be hosting these emerging leaders. I need, of course, the Hotel Albuquerque Heritage Hotels and all the hotels in Albuquerque in order for us to be hosting them. I need, of course, the tram. I need, you know, I talk about the Balloon Fiesta. I need, of course, Jim Garcia, who knows everybody in the state or probably everywhere in the US. I need Laurie. So this is, you guys are making our job easier. It's incredible knowing that since 1963, we have brought more than 5,000 international visitors to the city of Albuquerque. And they go all over the state. So they have no idea what Albuquerque is unless we talk about the International Balloon Fiesta. So then you talk about everything that we have to offer as a city. So right now, yes, we're hurting. Our funds come from the U.S. State Department. No, like the idea is, you know, working together with each one of you in order for us to keep bringing groups. Right now, we're going and doing everything virtual, but it's not the same. We need to show we need them to come to International Balloon Fiesta time because they can have the smell of the green chilies. We are in a really unique position in order for us to be bringing more international visitors. Last year itself, we brought 410. We're talking about an economic impact of almost 400,000 that we don't have in the city. But it's, you know, we are not stopping here. We know that as soon as we have something that is going to be working for us, we're going to be coming back and bringing those international visitors because we need them.
Well, I know here at the Chamber, we've had the pleasure of working with Global Ties for years. We've had some incredible internships that have come from all over the world. We've been so lucky to meet incredible people through the work that Global Ties has done, and now with Yudi being there and teaching all about diplomacy and the importance of sharing our beautiful state with the rest of the world. It's been a great partnership. And so we look forward to hopefully 2021, like Adrian said, a concentrated focus on how we're going to regroup and regain our partnerships and work that way. But because this is technically Balloon Fiesta week, I want to take things back over to Paul. And I want him to tell us a little bit about, you know, it's Wednesday at noon, but what would Balloon Fiesta be happening? What would be happening right now at Balloon Fiesta? And what are some of the events that we're going to miss out on this year for the public?
Well, Now, actually, Wednesday is kind of like our hump day, like it is for everyone else. It starts our second weekend. We was actually the Mass Ascension on Wednesday morning is generally our seventh session, and then we have 14 total. So tomorrow we'll be starting our two-a-days again, which is as much fun as two-a-days were back for football players. But this afternoon is usually our pilot picnic. Many years ago, we used to do it down at the zoo. We're hoping to go back to the zoo on our 50th in a couple of years here. But we'll see how that works out. But it's kind of when everybody is they're trying to catch their second win for the next week. Now, coincidentally as well, Tuesday night is our international pilots party, our Fly of the Nations, and then Wednesday night is our Special Shapes party generally as well. A lot of our shapes are international pilots, and so we've actually kind of merged them together for one big party on Wednesday night. And so we'd be getting ready for that after we got through our pilot picnic this afternoon. As far as events, I mean, everyone in Albuquerque knows the schedule between the Mass Ascensions on the weekend mornings and on Wednesday, our competitions on Monday through Friday, our glows on the weekends, and then also Thursday, Friday. The thing that always surprised me is when I started working here and realized that for some reason, Thursday night is just one of the biggest nights. Opening morning is usually our biggest event, but Thursday night is bigger than Friday night or Saturday night. I think everyone is just trying to figure out how to break up the week and not, no one likes to have a 7-day week. So I think that's part of it.
Well, balloon glow, Paul. I mean, everybody waits for that. It's like, it's amazing. Again, like Judy said, if you're not here in person to see it, you don't get it. You don't understand it. A couple of years ago, we actually had a team, a group in from Mexico, and they happened to just be here during Balloon Fiesta. And we took them out onto the field and spent some time with, lovingly Jim Garcia, we call him Jefe, but we took them out to spend some time with Jefe, and they were so blown away, and they're customers for life. I mean, their whole goal is, I got to come back with my family. I got to bring my wife and kids to see this, and you have tears in their eyes. And it's just such an incredible experience being part of Balloon Fiesta. So I would love to ask everybody, Paul, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite part of Balloon Fiesta? What is something that you just love about it so much?
Actually, it sounds kind of trite, but realistically, it's kind of going through the crowd and just seeing people who haven't been here before, or sometimes you can't really tell, they may have been here before as well. But seeing the little kids with their mouths open, their heads cocked back, just looking at balloons and trying to drink it all in. In fact, we even created a category in our balloon shots, our photography competition, which is just kids. I think the winner last year was a little boy who either was so excited about seeing the balloons or else he had to look for a bathroom, but he was wearing a big oversized cowboy hat, just, with his hands over his mouth, just looking at the balloons.
That's amazing. And you're right. I didn't think about that. And it is so neat to see the expressions on people's faces when they're standing there seeing a balloon, this far from them. It's pretty amazing. Jim, I have to say my favorite part of Balloon Fiesta is anytime I get to spend it with you. And of course, the Pozole parties. Those are my favorite. But Jim, what is your favorite part of Balloon Fiesta?
The Pozole party. I like what Paul said, because it's kind of funny when everybody is looking at all of the balloons. And we're not. We're looking at the people, and we're looking at the action. We're looking at, a lot of things. I look for the experience. I look for people that are, looking for ways to enjoy the Balloon Fiesta even better. Strangely enough, one of the toughest things is, getting people to the bathrooms, because a lot of people don't plan for that. But there's a lot of unique things. But I just love the flavor of it. I love to see what everybody looks like at 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's kind of crazy, but you probably don't realize this, but like Paul is probably up at 2:30 in the morning. I mean, our briefings start at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, there is so many events and meetings and activities that are happening before the balloons even go up in the morning. But the incredible coordination with the zebras, the officials, these people have an unbelievable hospitality. unbelievable organization. Paul, you and Sam Parks, the way that you guys work it with, you know, the FAA getting the waiver to be able to fly, there's just so many incredible things that go on behind the scenes that I don't think people realize the total infrastructure that it takes to make one of these events happen the way it does. Coordinating the public safety, it's amazing. We lose 300 kids a day and we find 300 kids every day. So everything just seems to work in a coordinated effort. But the public safety, Alan Tetrault, his son, those guys are incredible. So there's just so many people that do so many really, really neat things that don't ask for credit, do not want to get thank you, do not want anything except for everybody to have a great experience. So to me, it is. And Shannon, you got to see a little bit of background. You got to see, you know, the backdrop behind the scenes and how it works. And golly, you know, it's funny because when the balloons all go up in the air, it's like nappy time, you know, for us. And it's kind of where we get down, and just glad that it all happened. But kudos to Paul. A lot of weight on his shoulders every single year. I don't pass a year without telling Paul, whatever we pay you, and I know what it is, it's not enough. But he does an incredible job at mastering all of those. He's earned every one of those pins you see behind him, trust me.
I appreciate it. Let me jump in for just one, if I can.
Yes.
We don't lose 300 kids. 300 kids lose their parents, and then we help reunite them.
Yes. But it's just amazing how that all just works. So every day, everybody's up. Everybody's different. You know, people are nicer, people are more pleasant, everybody's more patient. I mean, it really is neat to see, and it's part of what Albuquerque is all about.
We know, I can imagine, you know, a parent, an adult who's never been to Balloon Fiesta. Of course, the kids are like, oh my goodness, but the parent like looking up and watching that and just letting go of the hand for a second because they're just so in awe, and the kids just kind of get separated. You know, you see it all the time, but it's such an incredible experience that first time. And so I know I've been there, I've seen it, see the look on my niece's face the first time she saw a balloon. It's pretty amazing. So.
You know what, Jen, I'm going to add to that, because this is a spectacular event, because this is one of the only events in the whole world where you interact with the field, with the pilots. You're able to talk to them, you're able to help them. You know that because we started the X Marks the Spot 2 years ago, and we pulled that out and made something happen out of that. And you know, a lot of people will grumble that say, you know, gosh, the Balloon Fiesta is a great inconvenience. I promise you, they will never say that again. So.
No, they will not. Not after this year. Absolutely. Jessica, what is your favorite part of Balloon Fiesta?
It's funny you asked this because I was just thinking about this, but to me, it's something outside of being there at the Balloon Fiesta itself. When I was younger, and ever since I was a young child, our whole family would get together and we'd drive up to the Jemez Mountains the first weekend of Balloon Fiesta to get to cut down trees and get wood. And for me, that was the start of the weekend, but it was start of Balloon Fiesta. It was start of fall, and it meant family. It meant, you know, leaves changing. It meant going to the mountains and seeing the balloons go up every time when we would go. It was just part of that experience and part of that drive. And this year was our first year in 30 years that we didn't have I didn't get to see the Balloon Fiesta, and we didn't go to the mountains. And I noticed it this weekend. I felt just that start of fall that I was so used to, and I hadn't realized how much I appreciated it, was gone. And that was mine.
It's the little things, Jessica. It's always
totally
the little things. I get it. Yudi, what is your favorite part of Balloon Fiesta? And we have some stories, girl.
I know. Of course, being with Jim. What are you talking about? My favorite part. Really, it's international visitors. Having international visitors. We had the opportunity to host, I have no idea how many international visitors, and International Balloon Fiesta was key. That's when everybody said, yes, absolutely, we're bringing these 3,000, 5,000 conference to Albuquerque. Absolutely, we're going to be bringing more international visitors. Absolutely, we're going to be, you know, looking at Albuquerque in a different way. So that is my favorite part, just having people coming here and see, and this is absolutely amazing. How many balloons? What is it that we see on the sky? People cannot believe it. And we have it here in Albuquerque, so that's my favorite part.
It's amazing. The stories that come out, it's truly amazing. Laurie, I mean, you probably have a lot of favorites. You're in the thick of it, but what is your favorite thing about Balloon Fiesta?
Sure. Yeah, this year you can really feel it not being there because I've been to every single 14 sessions for the last 13 years, every morning launch and every evening glow. And every morning, every event is different. And I start to see the patterns that Monday mornings, I know what the balloons are going to do, minus the winds, of course, but I look forward to the Monday morning launches because the pilots come and stay above the field for a long time. And from the museum's perspective, we're off to the south and above a little bit. And so not only do we get to see the balloons from this fabulous perspective, but for the month of September, like Fiesta, the Balloon Museum prepares for Fiesta all year long, but really the month of September is when we're building, changing signs, adding staff. And from the museum's perspective, watching Balloon Fiesta Park, you begin to see this bird's eye view of a city, of a village being built right in front of you, the cell phone towers being increased, the safety and security things happening. And it's almost like you're about to go on a week's long work trip, but the trip comes to you because you start to drive in golf carts instead of cars. You know the streets down at Balloon Fiesta Park. Oh, I'll meet you at the intersection of this. You see a new vendor coming up. Oh, I love that coffee vendor. I can't wait to go to that. And then all of the reunion type of family that it feels like. So it's amazing to watch that infrastructure be built beforehand and to have that reunion every year and the beautiful displays of the balloons every single session.
How lucky to have an event that size come to you, right? You know, what a great term, because, you know, I worked with the state fair for many, many years, and it was the same concept. It was like one day there was nothing there, and the next day there was, you know, 500,000 people enjoying a fair. It was so crazy to think of that. And it came to you. So that's a really interesting perspective on Balloon Fiesta. Adrian, what is your favorite part about Balloon Fiesta?
You know, I have several, but I'll start with my favorite part being when I tell a guest the night before Balloon Fiesta starts that they need to be up at 3:30 in the morning. They need to hit the road by 4 a.m. and they'll make sure that they get to Balloon Fiesta. The guests, you know, every single guest we tell that to, they look at us like we're crazy, and they are so happy when they get back. It was, you know, it's so worth it for them. But, you know, as a kid, you know, similar to several stories I've heard the last few minutes, it's the memories that we've all made with families. It's a change of season. It's the best event. You're gearing up for the fall season. But the stories that we've all been told from our customers, from the people that come here to Albuquerque, our locals, you know, getting together with a tourist. You don't, you know, you go to Balloon Fiesta Park and we watch balloons, but you start watching people and how happy they are. They want to be here. And our locals are so good to our people from all over the world. And I think all of our people getting together for an event of the size of an event that we have, we really show well to not only to New Mexico, but to the entire United States. Albuquerque does a great job, and the people, the stories, the chili, it's about the entire event, and it's also the start of fall. It's the start of season, and it's something that I cherish and something I look forward to every year.
You know, to see so many people visiting our city and getting to see the little treasures that are Albuquerque and all the neat little, you know, nooks and crannies of our city, whether it's a great restaurant or one of our amazing hotels or visiting like iconic landmarks like the tram, whatever that may be. It's amazing how people talk about it. And, you know, if you're watching social media, all of the posting and the messaging of people saying, oh my gosh, I've never been, thank you for inviting me. You know, that's the part, you know, we're going to miss this year, because it's always neat to see that follow up. So speaking of, Jim, so there's a little story about that poster that's behind you, that little road runner. Yes, there you go. I can't see exactly which one it is, but share the story of how this little duo of characters that chase each other in circles round and round came to be.
Well, it started, I'll put it together and I'll let Paul fix it. I'll tell the story the way I see it and hear it and felt it, and then Paul will correct me because he's my legal counsel. So thank you, Paul. But people probably don't know this, but you will realize this now when I tell you that Chuck Jones, the animator, the original animator for Warner Brothers, in all of his cartoons all of his backdrops were really scenes from New Mexico. It was all the backdrops were scenes in Mexico, and he had a really affinity for New Mexico. So in the first 2 Balloon Fiestas, there was no such thing as intellectual property. So we actually used the Roadrunner in our posters for the first 2 Balloon Fiestas. So if you do have, by the way, one of those original posters, they're quite valuable and they're fun. So fast forward now through the years, Rod May, another board member, had made contact with Craig Cozen, and Craig Cozen is the grandson of Chuck Jones. Craig has a gallery in Santa Fe, and he also operates what's called the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity. To make a big, long story short, we were able to regroup. I actually rode on a float in the Rose Bowl parade a few years back with Craig and his mother, and it was called Hats Off to New Mexico. And we had connected, and we had talked and made friends about the fact that we both were around Balloon Fiesta. And he told me about his friendship with Rod May and some of the other board members. And we were talking about a mascot a few years ago, and come to be, he said, what about Roadrunner and Coyote? And we said, well, let's connect the dots. So we connected the dots, and everybody that knew Craig reached back out to Craig and said, hey, is this possible? And he was amazing. He was able to, through the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity, give us a licensing agreement to be able to use this. But what's really spectacular, and David Killian, the artist, has just done a phenomenal series. So it was funny because when they asked, you can imagine what it would cost to commission a painting, something like that for Balloon Fiesta with an artist like this. And his answer was, well, what do you pay your artist? We'll just get paid the same thing. And so they really partnered up with us in a big way. We were able to open up the licensing agreement to some more products and activities. And I believe we extended the contract for one more year. So it's a 5-year poster series. I highly recommend that you guys get the poster. David did an incredible job with it. It's been a great partnership, and it's one of those things, don't be afraid to ask. And now all we did was just ask, and now we have a little bit of a partnership there. Now, Paul, you want to clear that up? Did I miss any fuzzy lines there?
I'm sure you did, but sometimes it's better to just let them stay fuzzy.
Okay.
A couple of things to point out, though, is we used to license our poster to a third party. And back in 2006, we brought it in-house and started contracting with artists. And until Warner Brothers here, it's all been New Mexico artists. But one of the things that we put into it was a hidden Roadrunner, and all of those since then. And there's a lot of people don't know about this, but if you look at any of our posters from 2006 through today's date, there's a Roadrunner, sometimes hidden in plain sight, but sometimes hidden somewhere into the art. When Dan Killen was first did our first poster, which is the one that Jim has behind him there, he found out after he'd done the artwork that we had this hidden Roadrunner motif, I guess, and he was kind of angry with us for not telling him because he couldn't put it into that first poster. And we kind of thought, well, isn't the focus of the balloon or the whole poster the Roadrunner and the Coyote? And so since then, there's the obvious Roadrunner, and there's also another hidden one in there that you can keep looking for. And as Jim said, we've expanded the set. It was going to be a 4-poster set, culminating with our 50th event, which was going to be next year. And now our 50th event will be in 2022. So we've expanded it into a 5th poster. And so if you notice, they started out with the Roadrunner flying away in a balloon, and the Coyote being kind of forlorn because he didn't have a balloon. The next year, he got his own balloon. Pretty impressive balloon, I might say, too. But again, the Roadrunner trying to run away from the Coyote. And this year, the Coyote, did not as good a splash and dash as he should have, and scooped a little bit too much water. And you might also learn that the artist is amazing. He keeps finding out more about New Mexico, and I was born here. I didn't know the cutthroat trout was our state fish, and so that's in the painting. Our state butterfly, our state flower, obviously our state air. So it's all part of it there. But now the Roadrunner actually is bringing a towel to the Coyote, so they're becoming friends.
Just
love it.
wait till the end, everybody.
No, I'm waiting for the big one. That's
I know how it ends,
Love
and you're
it.
gonna want the end.
You're gonna want them all because
It's
then
gonna be
it'll
a
the
national
end one
story.
makes sense. Yeah.
International.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. So I think how neat that you've been able to bring back the Roadrunner, the concept that started everything, all those years ago through today. But Jim has always had those posters up in his office. It's always such a great conversation maker when you have international guests like we always do here at the office, or when you just have conversations with your employees, like what is that about? And so Balloon Fiesta is such a huge part of everything that we do every day. And so we really love that.
Hey, Shannon,
so Jim,
can I tell them the story about how Mew and I met?
Sure, go ahead.
So I was not with the Hispano Chamber then, and I get a call from Shannon Hawkes, and she says, hey, we have some international guests that are in from out of town, and we want to take them to Balloon Fiesta, and we want to know if you could take them and maybe show them around a little bit. So I said, well, so I made the mistake of saying, sure, maybe I can help with some VIP. So then I should have said how many first, because then she said, oh, it's like 23 people. So I had to go to all my friends, my other board member friends, to gather all their VIP passes.
You committed.
But we delivered, and that was how I met Shannon before I even started there. So.
Yeah, you did. You really did, and it was an amazing trip. And we've been so lucky to get to know you and Balloon Fiesta better and be a better partner through convention and tourism. And so we've really appreciated that partnership. But it is kind of funny that really for Yudi and myself and Jim, Balloon Fiesta really is our tape. It's our glue. It's our cohesion, and that's how we all know each other. So we really appreciate that friendship. So as we start to kind of wind down the hour, really this week is about just this air in the air that's not there. Didn't mean to rhyme, guys. That's not there this week, and it's sad. I think it's a little heartbreaking if you're a small business owner that is like you said, waits every year for the Balloon Fiesta. It's such a chunk of what you do, or if you're happen to be a local attraction, a museum, or the tram, or something like that. And mostly our hotels are really needing the support right now. And but I'd like to kind of just go around and do one last, what is the one thing that during this time, during this COVID, this pandemic, that you've learned? And I really love what Adrian said about moving forward. What is the one thing you're gonna implement in your organization, your business for 2021? So I think let's start with Adrian.
I think what we've learned is really the jobs, people are people. We've unfortunately had to lay off a lot of people in our industry across the city, across the state, and across the country in hotels. And that's something that I will always focus on in the future. It's always been a big priority of mine, but our people are most important. Our people are the ones who drive the customers to come back. Our people are the ones that are making the beds. Our people are the ones that are serving the customers that come from all over the world. And if there's one take out of this that I will not take for granted in the future, is our people. Our people are so important to making things like Balloon Fiesta happen. I will never take that for granted. And I think our people continue to do a fantastic job. I was driving around this past weekend and driving down 4th Street to go get piñon. If you haven't got your piñon, make sure you get your piñon. The fruit basket on 4th Street has piñon and chili roasting. But I told my wife and daughter, let's go down and drive down Los Ranchos, and we saw a few balloons up, but there were so many locals supporting local businesses, supporting your restaurants, supporting your shops, and supporting our hotels. Staycations continue to go up every single weekend at all of our properties here in Albuquerque. We are so fortunate for the locals, but continue to support locals. And again, support your people, bring back those jobs.
Thank you so much for saying that, Adrian, because it is a hugely hit industry, and we hope to goodness that we can somehow figure out to get that next year at this time and all be celebrating Balloon Fiesta together. But I do want to give a big shout out to Adrian and team at Hotel Albuquerque. They just hosted us for a storyteller series that we were doing with an incredible meal, completely custom for our event, and you had an incredible staff take care of us, and the setting was amazing, and we maxed out what we could, what we're allowed. We wish you could have had more, but we really appreciate your hospitality and your partnership. You guys have been amazing, so thank you, Adrian, and I will see you this evening. Don't forget, I'm coming to visit.
And Jim, like you said earlier, when Shannon shoots me a text that she needs to come to Gardino's and she has a 5-top, that 5-top turns into 80 people. And I have now 7 tables of 6 around the hotel at 20, she fills up my 25%. So Shannon, thank you for all of your business, but she still does that.
You're welcome. You're right. I try to keep it at 4 and then it becomes 40. I'm like, thank God Gardino's is big. We can social distance. So.
I have to close off my reservation system when Shannon books. We'll see you tonight.
The Shannon factor.
Thank you, Adrian. Laurie, same question to you. What is something that you've learned, your organization has taken and learned during this time, and what do you see happening in 2021?
I think one of the interesting things when you've done something for many years over and over again, you get comfortable in your best practices, and it's really nice to have systems, and it's really nice to think that you know what works and have experience with that. And during this COVID time, every new endeavor, there's not really a best practices behind it, or you haven't done it, or you have to have this boldness of going for it, and it might fail. You just don't know yet. But sometimes you find things that work in ways that you would not have imagined if you hadn't had this obstacle. I think we've connected much better with our online communities and have stretched ourselves to try programming that we wouldn't have tried before. And so now we're right in the beta period of really seeing if it works, and we are getting some success with that, of being how can a museum serve in a time of trouble? And one of the ways is to bolster spirit and to provide spots for community and to remember our spirit, much like Balloon Fiesta does in this way. And this isn't an example from business, but my husband is a high school teacher, and graduations were canceled this year. And one of the ways that graduations happened this year were parades. And time again, all of these high school rounders and every teacher I ever talked to said, oh my gosh, the parades are so much better than the traditional graduation. I hope we don't ever have to do a traditional graduation again. I mean, that's an antidote, but they loved the parade so much. They missed the graduation, but I think in the future we'll find a way to capture that spirit of the parade and the ritual and the ceremony of graduation. And so I keep looking for examples like that in our own museum and our own gatherings and our own festivals of we're going to learn a lot after this.
I love that, Laurie. And tell us how we can reach out to you. What is the website? Where do we go to? How do we find out more information about the Balloon Fiesta Museum and the foundation?
Yeah, sure. So the quickest way is our website, which is just Balloon Museum. We don't mind the moniker Balloon Fiesta Museum because we love Balloon Fiesta so much, but the official name is Balloon Museum, and balloonmuseum.com. And the city of Albuquerque has a website too, cadq.gov/balloon.
Got it. Perfect. /balloon. We got it. And Adrian, tell us how we can find you. I forgot to ask you, so we can make sure we put it in the spot.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, hotelabq.com or hhandr.com.
You got it. And you cannot miss Hotel Albuquerque. It's right on the corner of Rio Grande and Mountain. And they have a beautiful property. And you guys need to head out, even if it's just for lunch or dinner, and enjoy the beautiful space right now while the weather is still nice. So thank you, Adrian. So Jessica, same to you. What have you guys learned? And what are you going to do moving forward, looking into 2021?
It's definitely been a tough year for all of us. And Shannon, I think you said it best. Things stopped in, what'd you say, in March, and we all woke up and it was October. I feel that way also. We experienced a shutdown for 3 months, as many of us have. And I think what this COVID situation has done is brought humans or people back to the basics. And that's health, that's safety, security, family. And how can we, as the hospitality industry, as hotels and restaurants and museums, continue to provide those basic needs to our guests in a way that we never had before? And I think for us, it's finding ways to help families make new memories, make special memories, feel safe, feel welcome, and kind of get back to those basics that we so easily forget about.
So I just want to say thank you to Jessica and team at Sandia Peak Tram. They recently hosted a staycation for us. Again, we maxed out. It's telling us how bad people want to get out and move around, but you guys were amazing, and we appreciate the tram ride, and we appreciated learning about the company and the organization, and it was really a successful day. So we appreciate you, as always, partnering with us. We are so thankful for you guys. Yudi, tell us a little bit about what you're going to do. Are you going to bring us 5,000 visitors in 2021?
Good idea, actually. And, it has definitely been a challenge because I left the chamber, back in January. At the end of January, all of a sudden, come to this, wonderful organization. And by March, we were already at home, working from home. So it has been, but I'm taking it as an opportunity. A challenge always comes to a good thing, as how are we going to be doing better? If we were able to host last year 410 international visitors, what is it that we can get 1,000, and increase that economic direct impact that we bring to the city of Albuquerque? So what I can say is building better relationships, learning about the infrastructure that we can bring here to the office. And my goal is us becoming the international hub for the city of Albuquerque, and having different institutions, organizations coming here, and every time that we have these international visitors, because once again, this is through the U.S. State Department. So these are people that they're decision makers. What we want to do is to make them fall in love with everything that we have around the city. Hotels, tram, Balloon Fiesta, Balloon Museum, everything, Hispano Chamber, with James, like I said, always the contacts that I know that I can call him and say, hey, I need these speaker that needs to talk to these visitors, and he's like, right away. So it's just a community effort, and that's what I'm looking for. Just rebuilding what we have already, and getting out there the word about Global Ties ABQ and what we do as an organization, and then that we need you guys, that we need each other in order for us to bring back this beauty that we have here in the city.
Yudi, we want to say thank you so much. Since you have become the executive director there, we definitely had we have an MOU with you here at the chamber, and our goal is to help you facilitate those visitors when they get here, get them into hotels, and get them learning all about the city and all the fun stuff we do through the CNT department. So we really appreciate you continuing the relationship with us. We look forward to 2021, and a special shout out to Yudi for getting everybody together today to pull this. Bravo to you for doing that. Jim, I am going to save the best for last today. That's Mr. Paul Smith. So Jim, I'm going to come to you.
Okay. It's awesome. Good. No, Paul, that's good because he can correct me. So first of all, I want to start off with a sad note. I want to say that sadly, we just experienced our 10th anniversary of losing Richard Abruzzo and Carol Reimer Davis over the Baltic Sea or Adriatic Sea, wherever in the Gordon Bennett race. So those are the legacies. Those are the heartfelt memories that we have. They're part of what we are, Balloon Fiesta. They're part of our family. Richard was truly a team member. He sure was a good friend with me and with Balloon Fiesta as well. But I believe that we're going to learn. We all learned a lot. We learned how to appreciate our neighbors, our friends. I commend the Hispano Chamber of Commerce for their ability to get out in front of COVID, immediately helping employees with retooling, getting either money or getting jobs, immediately getting resources out to the PPEs and the public. So I commend the Hispano Chamber for that. I was grateful to be a part of that. Glad to know Carmen Castillo and Ramiro Cavazos on the big team, and Ernie Sidibaca and all the people there at the Hispano Chamber that really make it happen. And Shannon, to you for blitzing this market, the resources that you guys are putting out every single day is still relevant, important information and resources for the community. So I appreciate you for doing that. I would love to give you a shout out to my industry, but thank you. We're just building highways out here. We're good. So
are you you're keeping us going from place to place? It's important. The roads are important in New Mexico.
No, and I'll tell you, it was almost comedy when I interviewed for the job, and I said, you actually know I don't know a thing about building highways, bridges, or dams. And they said, we want you to help us build some other type of bridges. And to have a background in the hospitality industry, to absolutely adore Yudi and Jessica and Shannon. You guys know that. You know how I feel about y'all. Paul, I just like you. Just kidding. Paul's actually a very dear friend. I was a friend of Paul's before I worked with him at Balloon Fiesta, and he's just a great guy. Hard worker. We're missing a lot in Albuquerque, and I think we're gonna learn that this is something that's very, very special.
Yes, I think we're all going to appreciate Balloon Fiesta more after this year. So, Paul, I'd like to close up our time with you. You know, tell us about this time, what you've learned, and what do you see for Balloon Fiesta 2021?
Well, I've always been told that, I think it was Eisenhower that said, the plan is nothing, planning is everything. And more, I'm buying into that more and more as we go through here. Although I've come to learn now that it's not plan A, it's not plan B, it's not plan C, D, or E, which we actually did come up with 5 different plans on how we could put Balloon Fiesta together this year. But as Adrian pointed out, we are now up to 10 people in a gathering that's allowed, and that just doesn't work. So learn to do some more planning, and we've got some great ideas for what we can do for next year. Depending on what kind of limitations we have. But the one thing I've really learned this year, I think more than anything else, is something that I knew, but I didn't really realize how deep it was. But Balloon Fiesta, we try to be self-sufficient as much as we can, not ask for help if we can help it. But this year we've needed help. People have, and we haven't asked for help from anyone, but they've stepped up. We started up with Balloon Fiesta Siesta. I came up with some merchandise thinking some people might want to do some of that and help support us. We're now on our 3rd or 4th reorder of the special masks that we had on those, the special pins, the gold pins, silver pins that have been released, and there's actually one more pin coming out. You probably can't figure out what color that pin's going to be. But the thing is, we've known that there's been a great symbiosis between the city of Albuquerque, the people of Albuquerque, and Balloon Fiesta, but it's just, we kind of forget about it until we really are experiencing it. And people have asked me before why Balloon Fiesta happened in Albuquerque, not somewhere else. And a lot of it is, I mean, the weather is great, but the thing is people. It's people that opened their homes to the international pilots back in the 70s, that continue to open their homes and their hearts and everything else to the visitors that come to Balloon Fiesta. Without our guests, we couldn't put on the event, but without the people of Albuquerque and New Mexico, those people wouldn't want to come here.
Well, you know, Pi, I'm so glad that you made the comment about the planning, and then I think that's an incredible quote. I think all of these organizations, including ourselves here at the Hispano Chamber, have done Plan A through, whatever it may be, trying to figure out what's happening tomorrow, because we're in a very fluid society right now. We don't know. We just don't know. We've been planning on gala. We don't know what that means. It's just crazy, the thought right now, but we are all taking a deep breath and hoping that 2021 will bring us much better choices and really help to rebuild our economic platform that is suffering right now, especially in hospitality and tourism. So I hope that next year, when we get this group together, it's a few weeks before Balloon Fiesta, and we're celebrating all of the people coming into the city, and we're talking about the favorite things we love that are going to be happening in a couple of weeks, because we are hoping that we will see our beloved Balloon Fiesta in the city where we have the best hospitality, hands down. So if you're watching from outside of New Mexico, you'd have to come here to experience it. If you've been here, you know what I mean. Albuquerque has the best hospitality, and we've heard it over and over and over from all of the events that come, the conferences that we host, the conventions that are here, and they say second to none, that our community, our culture have come together and made them feel like they were part of the family from the second they arrived at the airport or drove in. So we continue to do that as a community, as this group, all in hospitality. And we hope that you guys will all get out and visit local attractions, support your local hospitality industry through restaurants and hotels, and visit the tram and the museums, and come and learn about Balloon Fiesta and be excited about sharing that with your friends and family, because it takes a village. And so let's all do it together. So we will we'll see you guys next Monday. We're going to be talking about some more events that are coming up in our amazing virtual world, if you will, throughout the end of the month. And so we hope that you visit us here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber page next Monday, and we will see you all then. Goodbye, everybody, and you guys have a great week. Happy Balloon Fiesta.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.